Expressway Airport Parking, they haul. What you got going
Man,
on?
if you're traveling from now till November the 20th, you can use the Harvest Time promo code and get 10%. It's a really good discount. But here's the special. So that's for now until the 20th of November.
The harvest time. How you say the harvest time? Just the harvest time?
It's just harvest time. You can put a space in there or no space, either one. It'll work either way.
Okay, harvest time.
But if you're traveling for the week of Thanksgiving, we've got a special. It's Feast 15 for 15% discount. If you're traveling, you can book it now. The code is only good until November 10th, and then it expires. But it's for travel the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So if you're traveling the week of Thanksgiving, the Friday before through the Friday after, you can get a 15% discount if you book it now. This is all for early booking, and that code will expire as of November 10th because we expect to fill out.
Correct.
And so we're trying to get folks to book early, get their place, and because really we're going to probably fill up this year.
Right.
And want everybody to make sure they got a spot and for a good price.
Right. So you're going to have a feast. That's a feast on parking.
We'll have a feast.
All right.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Well, man, I just tell you what, I was so happy to have a person call me and ask me what the code was. I say, well, they say it's not the doctor of football. I said, no, I'm only when football season kick off. I say, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to post this on social media because I want them to be able to get the 5-star treatment. And if what you're telling them, if you go ahead and plan right now, that they can make that reservation at Feast 15, but until then, it's the harvest time. That's right. Do I have it right?
For flying out this week till November 20th, you can use harvest time to get 10%. Book now if you're traveling the week of Thanksgiving and get 15% on Feast 15.
Feast 15.
But that code will expire on November 10th, so you got to get booked before November 10th in order to get that value.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what I want you to do is because when I post your stuff on social media, I get a lot of comments as well about your service and
Great.
stuff. So send me that information again. And I'm on the radio
Will
now,
do.
and then what I'll do, I'll do another post promo because when that customer called me and said, "Hey, what's that code? I'm getting ready to fly out." So I want to make sure I have the right information. But they listening to us, and they know, and that, you know why? Because they know that this first quarter is presented by Expressway Airport Parking, Drew Baker, the Parking Dream Maker, who, if you put him in the game, his team will destroy your airport parking nightmare. So that's Coach Drew Baker, the Parking Dream Maker. Hey, put him in the game and let you see how the Taj Mahal of parking is done at Expressway Airport Parking. It's one-stop shopping parking when you fly out of Little Rock, a.k.a. LIT. Hey, you make the parking experience lit. That's what we call it, LIT. That's how you make it, saving you money and time. So, Drew, we appreciate you, and I'll get this posted on my social media to let everybody know how if you call, you will haul. That's Expressway Airport Parking. So until next time, you take care, my brother.
Thank you, Dr. Hill.
All right. With that, I want to give a quick, Pastor Drew, you give us a quick prayer.
Absolutely. Lord, we love you. We thank you for what you're doing in this state, Lord. We thank you for the lives that you're moving, and we thank you that we get to play a part in your game, Lord. Be with everyone out there listening. Keep them safe. Keep them hungry. In your name, amen.
Amen. Hey, if you haven't checked out my First and 45 website, that's firstand45.com. It's where we shine a light on the darkness of the black male homicide epidemic, particularly among our youth, where we're looking at how we can intervene in this crisis and epidemic. Most people don't know that in certain communities throughout the United States of America, guns are responsible for 80% of the death of black children, comparatively speaking to less than 25% of that of white children. I just believe, as my past experience and the Lord has put on my heart, that this crisis has to be discussed, and a game plan to tackle this violence exigency must be executed. Very few know, and it's rarely discussed, that murder As Pastor Drew always say, not car wrecks, not heart disease, or cancer is the number one cause of death for black males ages 1 to 19. And the result of our silence dealing with this gun violence is negatively impacting the ecosystems in our community in very disparaging ways. Drew, we know there's 5 categories in First and 45 that we propose to alter the trajectory of death and incarceration in Arkansas. They are prevention, intervention, diversion, rehabilitation, and resuscitation during incarceration. These can feel overwhelming, and in many ways, it is when you look at the data. And as a result, what we feel as we continue to work together daily, that in many ways we're reactionary rather than visionary as to what is happening, and we don't turn off the faucet and we just keep mopping up the water and repairing the leak and not addressing where the faucet continues to just let water pour in a negative way. But God had a blessing with every Arkansan name on it. So we want to dive deep into the prevention and intervention mode based on Proverbs 22:6, where it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he gets old, he will not depart from it. So I want you to kind of share the blessing. We're going to have Casey Beard, our senior deputy prosecuting attorney, who's working with us, join us in the second quarter, where we're talking about the prevention and intervention, although she has to work in the suppression mode for prosecution as well. But we're blessed to have a person working with us to be able to work in the prevention and intervention and the rehabilitation for the youth that we feel are deserving of the opportunity of a second chance, because most of our kids, when this happened, they don't really know what's going on in their life, and they're just responding to the social determinants that were placed in front of them.
Right. And Coach, every Saturday we do Serve Saturday. We go out, pick up trash, hang out with kids, bring the mobile truck. We play games. We're sharing the gospel, that message of hope. And then we finish up good old-fashioned breakfast, pancakes, sausage, cook out for the neighbors. But this past week, we were in the middle of our Serve Saturday, and a young boy came running up. And I sent you the picture.
Yeah.
And he laid down his helmet and his pads. He's probably 12 or 13. He ran up to me, and I said, man, how was football today? And, man, his face just fell. And he says, there was no one to take me to the game. And he reached in his pocket and he pulled out a piece of paper, and it had what to wear, when to be there, where to be, all this stuff. And he had missed it. He had missed the game, but he was just discouraged because there was no one to take him there. And
to his football game.
To his football game. For so many of our kids, that's a death sentence.
Yeah, no question.
Because he could have been somewhere that he's being poured into, invested in, but instead he was left to his own devices.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at that, I mean, that's a picture of what a lot of our kids are going through. There's no one there for them.
That's right.
And so we were blessed here recently to receive a grant from the federal government for $3.75 million for the Fatherhood Initiative. And the goal is to take those dads, maybe they're coming out of recovery, maybe they're coming out of incarceration, maybe they're just in arrears on child support, or maybe they just, they blew it. We as men, we blow it all the time. They messed up their relationship with mama, but they've not been involved in those kids' lives. And we're going to walk them through how in the world to restore that relationship. Man, we got to get a job. We got to get caught back up on that child support. We got to coach them.
Correct.
Along to be the men that God called them to be.
That's the rehabilitation.
That's the rehabilitation, so that we don't have that faucet keep leaking and flooding the house with this next generation of children. Because when you look at the seriousness of this, Coach, 17.6 million kids, that's nearly 1 in 4, live without a biological, step, or adoptive father in their home.
And the statistics just speaks loud and clear about when a father is not involved. Mm-hmm. Mothers are essential, but
absolutely,
but fathers are irreplaceable.
Exactly. And you look at it, and it's like trying to play baseball with one arm tied behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
And God intended for both arms for us to be out there full force, mom and dad working at this together, fighting this fight together. And we as men, we've abandoned our women and said, just fend for yourselves. We got to get back in the game if we want to see them winning at the game of life.
And and that's, to me, I lost my father, but what I had a community of men who stepped into place, and I think that's a mentor, that's a role model. I know as Coach Bill, you often talk about all the coaches that stepped into place for you, and that's where we're trying to create that void. We're trying to fill that void, that in many times, because sometimes, as like was me, my father was deceased, and so, but I had an uncle, I had other people replaced, and I had my coaches and people who pulled. That young man, when you sent me that my heart, I said, cannot imagine, because even my grandson right now, I don't want to miss anything. Hey, what does he need? What dice? What? Hey, baby, what time the game start? What time you gonna start warming up? I want to be there so he can see that I'm there. But to imagine that this young man woke up with his helmet, his shoulder pads, and was ready to go, and he couldn't get to where he's supposed to be. I can you those type of things make you grow hopeless.
Absolutely. And we were talking before the show, when you get 2 or 3 of those kids that have nowhere to be, no one to look after them, and they feel hopeless, they start doing stupid stuff.
That's when that's when they say, when somebody's calling you off the porch.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And see if coach is picking you up, taking your place, all right. So that's what coach was doing. Coach, come by and pick you up. Let's go to baseball practice. Right. Well, you don't have somebody come to pick you up. Somebody else walk you by and say, hey, let's go do this, and then you end up doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, and then that's the consequence, and that's what we're going to go talk about now in the second quarter. So stay tuned. Casey Beard, Senior Deputy Prosecuting Attorney for here in Central Arkansas, is going to be joining us talking about dealing with this population of kids and how we can be restored, creating a safer community for my team. Hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Shug, Pastor Drew, the Doctor of Football. It's the Westrock Coffee Recruiting Intelligence Report presented by Expressway Airport Parking. Stay tuned.
If he ain't, then you lying in the rain, in the shine. God is good all the time. God is good all the time.
Hey guys, is life sometimes confusing? You ever find yourself just needing directions? As men, we really need other men to help us figure it out. More than that, we need a model for manhood who we can look to help. 33 the Series is a video playbook based on the kind of manhood lived by Jesus Christ in his 33 years on earth. Check out our short video trailer at authenticmanhood.com. Real men aren't afraid to ask for directions.
Yeah, Chicken King is on and popping. Chicken King is truly the king of fried food. Have you ever had a Chicken King pork chop? It's fire. The catfish is crunchy and tasty. Add hot and the tartar sauces? Well, that will put it in the 5-star lineup. The chicken wings? Well, that's really why they call it Chicken King. But all the chicken offerings qualify for the Doctor of Football starting lineup, and that's why I'm prescribing Chicken Kings for your stomach's desires. Chicken Kings are located in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Bryant, and my hometown of Arkadelphia. Put Chicken King in the game, and if you call, they will ball in serving your order. Questions? Call 501-562-5573 and let them handle your fried food orders. I'm so happy to be able to fly out of Little Rock again on a regular basis. Didn't realize how special I felt until I pulled back into Expressway Airport Parking. I miss my teammates led by my head coach, Drew Baker. Not only is Expressway Airport Parking quick, efficient, and saves me money, it also makes me feel good about me, and I know it'll make you feel good about you. If you want slower service, less efficiency, and to spend more money parking, I guess that would be the only reason you wouldn't join our team and park with us. Remember, teamwork makes Expressway Airport Parking dream work. It's easy. You call, we haul. It has been said that ignorance is bliss, but the Doctor of Football also believes that knowledge can produce a burden within the soul, and I have a heavy burden. Did you know that homicide, not car wrecks, cancer, or heart disease is the #1 cause of death for black males ages 1 to 44? This epidemic rarely gets discussed or receives the attention of similar health crises. That's why the Doctor of Football is working to create awareness of this homicide virus and formulate a game plan to help black males reach the age of 45. Now that you know, join our team by getting in the game with us at firstin45.com. That's firstin45.com. Make a play, save a life. Each day, circumstances change for people's lives. Some good, some bad. My life changed drastically when my mother suffered a massive stroke and required modifications at home for personal mobility. Have you, family, or friends experienced such? If so, let me prescribe 5-Star Diamond Medical Equipment Supply of Central Arkansas. Put Ted and Cindy in the game if you're in need of medical supply equipment and call them at 501-225-3106. That's Ted or Cindy at 501-225-3106. The Doctor of Football is putting Blue Train custom apparel and signage into my starting lineup for 2022. Last August, I was running out of time when I needed t-shirts for the 16 Goal Youth Football program. I went deep with the Hail Mary, and Blue Train made a play. Then I found out they could play more than one position. Our church needed our 2 fish and 5 loaves outreach van wrap. Blue Train signage transform our bus. We are rolling. Need t-shirts, hats, or a vehicle wrap? Call Blue Train at 501-353-0556 or check out my teammate at bluetrainapparel.com.
For over 30 years, Pickup Truck Accessory Warehouse has been Arkansas's truck accessory headquarters and the only stop for all your truck parts and accessories. If it goes on a truck, Pickup Truck Accessory Warehouse has got it. And that includes upgrading your truck with Vortex spray liners. Tough, durable, proudly made in the USA. Their spray liners can protect your truck for years to come. Call Pickup Truck Accessory Warehouse at 501-568-0040 to schedule your spray. Or stop by 65th and University.
Looking to upgrade your home without breaking the bank? Go to the Warehouse, 2011 North 2nd Street in Cabot, Arkansas's trusted source for quality flooring, including SPC vinyl waterproof flooring starting at $139 a square foot, tile starting at 59 cents a square foot, next-gen waterproof hardwood, and many other building materials at unbeatable prices. Contractor, home builder, or DIYer, we've got what you need in stock and ready to go. Go see the Flooring King, the Warehouse, and Natural State Wholesale, building better naturally.
It's the Westrock Coffee Recruiting Intelligence Report with Fitz Hill.
If y'all hadn't come to the studio, you'll see my man Damon how he bopping his head over there to the song right here. I think that's his favorite song.
That's his cut right there.
That's his cut right there. That's take him on back. That's what song like me and Rip, you sang Back Down Memory Lane. You was out there balling back then, wasn't you?
That's right. 3-year-old me.
Hey, as we were just talking about the youth violence, and I have a perception based on my relationships with. I was telling you, James and I was coaching 60 Gold 2 or 3 years ago when I was still involved with it. And I said, James, we were looking at it, I said, where is it? I had the opportunity to coach James as a graduate assistant at the University of Arkansas in 1989. Had some involved in recruiting Cedric Cobbs from J.A. Fair. Then you had Michael Dyer. Then you had Darren McFadden. And just thinking about how what I call the transformational athletes who, when you look at those guys, Darren McFadden, 2-time second Heisman Trophy runner-up, Michael Dyer, SEC MVP, MVP of the national championship game with Cam Newton in the backfield, Cedric Cobbs, all SEC freshman team, James Rouse, Little Rock Park, we're going just understanding how many of these student athletes that would have the opportunity, like the young man that was just charged 14, that you say you knew that our team, Everard Kansas.
Zach and crew knew him from the Pro Throw area. So
and all stand up and
standing in the back, didn't want to get involved, ran with his own little crew out there. At 14 years old, he was making life-changing decisions that he's now going to pay the price for the rest of his life.
And that's unfortunate. Hey, tonight I have with us I want to make sure I get this straight, the Senior Deputy Prosecuting Attorney, Casey Beard. Casey, thank you for joining us tonight. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay?
I got you. Hey, I just want to introduce you to our listeners. Casey, I met you 3 years ago after assuming the office, and I've enjoyed working with you because your approach to prevention, although you're a prosecutor, and I know that's different, and how you look at intervention. But I was introduced to you by mothers who had sons who had been murdered here in Little Rock, and from there we've been joined by the hip in fighting this crisis. And you have a responsibility of keeping Little Rock safe, and that task can be most difficult without the community's assistance. What we've discovered is that your juvenile offenders are often disengaged without parental supervision. That's what Drew was mentioning in the first half. But what I found refreshing in working with you is that if we have a diversion or rehabilitative game plan, you're willing to work with the juvenile to get their life back on track. And you've worked on both sides of this. And so I want you to share a little bit about your experiences and how it's difficult just with the young man who was charged as an adult. And we have to have our community safe and what he's done. But also, man, I want to applaud you for the ability to work with youth who you feel like from school suspensions and Coach, they're headed down the wrong direction. If we can divert them, I want to work with them because I don't want them to come before me to charge, and I have to do this based on the law. So speak to that, and I pray for you daily that these decisions you make will create safer communities for Central Arkansas.
No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you having me tonight. And just so you know, an honor always to get to do this work, and that's the extension of Will Jones, who's our elected official. I came over and joined him a little over 2 years ago, maybe close to 2.5 now, after, like you said, I had been a public defender for 20 years, always in juvenile court by choice. I tell people I'm a social worker with a law degree, and got to work with kids and their families and got, just really experienced with a lot of what they struggle with and deal with, and got educated in those 20 years on the social determinants that they have to face, and the complications within the school system that they might face, and within the community, and lack of services that might be available to help certain families and kids. And then I tell everybody, even my experience with my own daughter, who we have adopted from foster care, gave me a whole different insight to be able to talk the talk and walk the walk, with that situation in a scenario that I might not would have otherwise gotten experience in. And so Will, when he was elected, he had been in office for about 6 months whenever he recruited me to come over and asked me to come over to join his leadership team with as a juvenile division chief. And I don't know, I prayed about it for about 30 or 45 days before I took the job. I turned him down 2 or 3 times before I came over. And something kept speaking to me and tell me that I should do that. And Kelly, who's the chief deputy, told me that where I had gotten to, help one individual juvenile for the last 20 years as they sat next to me as my client, I'd get to do things that impacted our community as a whole. And I would get to work for victims, and I would get to work for those that don't necessarily have a face and a name whenever we're trying to take care of the community with our decisions that we just have to make, as to what's right or wrong and to what would make our community safer. And so I have gotten to do that, and I think that we're developing something new. I mean, this is not an avenue that the prosecutors are usually in. We're working to try to turn the faucet off. We're working to try to be around tables that address social determinants. And I will 100% my entire life think that me meeting you with the moms that you came into the office with when we reached out to the mothers of some of the homicide victims that we have was a God thing, to be able to sit around a table and I would say instantaneously realize that we had a similar heart, but just different perspectives and come from different places as to the work that we could do. So I get to do this work, as the extension of Will, and we're trying to do a parallel approach to prosecution where we're not only still continuing to be in our lane for suppression, which is our traditional role in prosecution, but also to try to work on the prevention intervention and doing that through rehabilitation and diversion, like you said, and wrapping around situations that we think might need us to look at it differently or be out of the box, step outside the box from what is normal when it comes to what has historically been done from our office.
So with that being said, and just from a practical experience for our listeners before we have to go, and I appreciate you being here, do you remember the time last year, I think I went to court with you, to juvenile court. I was able to go because I was just observing so I can kind of see this firsthand. And as you allowed me to go into the detention facility where the juveniles were being detained, and as you and I walked through, do you remember the young man called me Coach Hill? Do you remember that?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
And I looked over at this young man, Drew and Bill, and there was a young man, one of the best football players who had been in the 6th grade. He was tall and long, and I had already projected him as a potential, big time ball is going to be recruited because, you just have some sixth graders that just stand out. And you say, hey, this guy's gifted. He go, it's just a natural deal.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he called me and I said, and you say, I said, yeah, that's my guy because I know him because like I always say, if you're a ball, I'm going to know your name. I say, you do something. You won't, you don't have to put your name on your helmet. I learn your name if you make it. Well, he was out there making plays. And so I knew who he was. And so when he called me, I said, what you in here for? Well, this young man was in there for murder. And he just, last year he played for 39 years. And so now this young man was so gifted, so potential. This is what I'm talking about, Bill and Drew, about this population that we have in Central Arkansas when we don't address this. We want to know why our numbers are decreasing, why our ball player numbers of football are going down, because these young men who have this energy that can be on a kickoff team where they can go down there and hit somebody or go out there and attack somebody is not being used in the right channel. It's not being channeled in the right vein. And that's the reason I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to reach out, work with Michael Crump with DYS to give us access to the student population. And Drew, taking these young people with the Fatherhood Initiative component and attaching them back to their father, doing that, I know these are things that you're trying to want to do with the Fatherhood Grant.
Absolutely. And what's so cool about everything is the village that's kind of come together over the last couple of years, because it's like you've got the prosecutor's office and what Casey and Will are doing, which is amazing. You've got the police and the sheriff that are coming together, but then you've got over 400 agencies just in Pulaski County through the 100 Families stuff that have come together, and it's like we are fighting and standing together for this next generation.
GIV on tap. I mean,
Absolutely.
all the things we're trying to do. Hey, I hear my music. Casey, you probably like that music. I don't know if you can hear it.
Our children anymore. We are going to do the collaboration that is necessary to make a change, and so we're fortunate to all have each other, and that right there is a great place to end the night.
There you go. Well, I appreciate it. Casey Beard, this Shug,
Arkansas Best Insurance.
we're out.
You can't be called the best unless you're performing better than the rest. And that's why I, the doctor of football, did an audible and switched to Arkansas Best Insurance. One-stop shop for all your insurance needs. That's right. You got insurance needs? I got your prescription. He's back and better than before. It's the doctor of insurance, Trey Scallion. My guy Trey is balling with Arkansas Best Insurance, providing the best coverage with companies like Auto Owners who will make plays for you while minimizing the pain of writing insurance checks. Give my 5-star partner, Trey Scallion, also known as the doctor of insurance, the nod, and he will come off the bench to take care of your insurance needs. Call my guy at 501-278-0105. As I look back over my life, I realized I have fumbled in many areas. Thank God that he did not put me out of the game. My high school and college teammate, Steve Snyder, together we battled opponents on the fields and courts of competition in search of winning outcomes on the scoreboard. But today, Brother Steve is trying to score for our Heavenly Father by spreading the gospel through 33 The Series, a multi-volume video series that gives men a vision for manhood modeled by Jesus Christ himself. For detailed information on how you can get in the game with authentic manhood, go to authenticmanhood.com. It's time to get in the game with Jesus. Each day, circumstances change for people's lives. Some good, some bad. My life changed drastically when my mother suffered a massive stroke and required modifications at home for personal mobility. Have you, family, or friends experienced such? If so, let me prescribe 5-star Diamond Medical Equipment Supply of Central Arkansas. Put Ted and Cindy in the game if you're in need of medical supply equipment and call them at 501-225-3106. That's Ted or Cindy at 501-225-3106. I, the doctor of football, recently completed an evaluation of rehabilitation therapy and services, and to no surprise, it was revealed that Dr. Rob of Ortho Rehab and Specialty Centers received a 5-star rating, meaning Dr. Rob is the big baller in the rehab business. You got back pain, hamstring problems? I'm prescribing 2 words for you, Dr. Rob. Call him at 501-975-4040 and tell him the doctor of football sent you for his 5-star treatment. This is Coach Fitzhill, also known as the doctor of football, and I approve this message.
A football coach told me, the doctor of football, the recruiting prescription used by Oklahoma to sign Brian Bosworth was linked to a common beverage liked by Coach Barry Switzer and Bos's father. Switzer's assistant coach had collected intel and knew the only type of beverage Mr. Bos drank. Consequently, during the home visit, when Bos's father asked Coach Switzer if he wanted something to drink, Coach Switzer replied, only if it was that exact beverage Mr. Bos drank. I will let your imagination roll about that beverage. But I must tell you about the 5-star Westrock coffee the doctor of football is prescribing for all of your coffee needs. Now that I have briefed you, be like Coach Switzer, and when someone asks you if you want a cup of coffee, say, only if it's Westrock coffee.
You know their stories. You know their swings. For these icons, there's no slowing down in sight. Legendary action returns to Pleasant Valley Country Club in Little Rock, Arkansas for the Simmons Bank Championship presented by Stevens on October 24th through the 26th. Tickets on sale now at SimmonsBankChampionship.com.
It's the Westrock Coffee Recruiting Intelligence Report with Fitz Hill.
Give me a hoe if you got your funky bus fare. There's a double Dutch bus coming down the street.
Shug, you were jamming back out there on those double Dutch, right?
You know, hey, double Dutch was going. We was going hard on double Dutch.
That's probably 1980. If I'm thinking.
No, double Dutch was probably in the mid '80s. I bet double Dutch was in the mid '80s, between probably '83 and '80. I can't remember exact year, but I bet it was in the mid '80s.
Pull it up. It was something though. Everybody's hitting the dance floor when that came on.
Yeah. Still having house parties, did.
Hey, sure. Let's talk a little basketball. And first of all, I want to publicly thank you for your role and I know your former Hawk, Isaiah Joe, for his recent contribution to the ABC basketball player. That $5,000 contribution was a shot in the arm for Coach Watkins for the 25-26 Buffalo season. I know Coach Rip up in heaven saying thank you, Isaiah, for investing in the program that he built and that you helped him build. And I'm excited to watch the Buffaloes this season. So thank you, Isaiah Joe, as he gets ready for his next season with OKC Thunder. And, man, Isaiah just gotten better every year and just shooting better. I mean,
he's gotten better. He's one of the top 3-point shooters in the league. You know, that money came from his camp. He did a camp this summer here in Little Rock, and you know, did an excellent job with the kids, working with the kids, and of course as part of that camp is his whole deal was he didn't, of course, all the profits was going to charity, so he made that donation. But he's mindful. He's been around, and he's one of those last groups of kids that I had that actually knew Coach Rip.
Correct.
That when we were, when they were little, they were going to park and they was going to Baptist when we were practicing over there, and so it was. I think that came very easy to him, and he was very excited about helping out.
Hey, I did a little deal on Chat GP. I was to tell you about it and got a little following. If you hadn't seen it on my Facebook, man, I had a lot of views and just talking about the 5 best basketball players
ever in Arkansas. Oh yeah, I looked at it. Hey Doc, listen, I looked at it. Hey, I thought the chat list was
decent.
I thought it was decent, but it's obvious they not in. They still got some work to do because they didn't have Keith Lee on there. Come on, you think about it, he's 60. He led Memphis 60-0, top 10 in the country, and he was the 11th pick of the NBA draft and led Memphis State to a Final Four. So. But I gotta, me.
I want to hear. I want to hear this shit. I
got a list. So,
hey, I'm gonna call the Suge 5.
I'm gonna run through it real quick. I got number 5, Malik Monk.
Malik Monk, number 5. All right, this the Suge 5. Everybody ever the Malik Monk, number 5.
Now we can change this fluent. Now we can take. I got number 4, Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson, okay.
And you notice, so for all these guys are lottery picks. I got number 3, Keith Lee from West Memphis. And a lot of people don't know about Keith Lee, but he led that team They went undefeated 2 years in a row.
I saw Keith Lee play in the state championship game at UCA.
Yeah.
And when I was in sophomore in high school, and you couldn't get in. Hey, you couldn't get in the UCA gym that night.
Right, and he led Memphis State to a Final Four. He was the 11th pick of the draft.
And how tall was Keith Lee?
6'11".
Oh, 6.
He was 6'11", so people just kind of forgot about him. They was on a great team. And I got number 2, Sidney Moncrief,
Okay.
which Sidney was the 5th. Of course, we all know Sidney. He was our first major athlete on the cover of Sports Illustrated basketball. He led Arkansas to a Final Four. He was the number 5 pick of the draft, and then he a Hall of Famer. And then he was an NBA Hall of Famer. So, and then I got number 1 is Corliss. I think Corliss is number 1. He's the most decorated basketball player we've ever had. Of course, McDonald All-American, and some of those. He came along with those high school. You start getting different high school rankings. Like you had ESPN, you had 247, you had Rivals. Scout. He was number 1 player on Rivals. In the country. So, that's my top 5. And I'm sure.
And they were consistent. That number 1, they chat GPA was number 1. Corliss was number 1.
Corliss was number 1.
Yeah. So
I think Sidney was. I don't know if Sidney was number 2.
I don't think so.
I know Keith Lee wasn't even on there, so it's obvious you cannot have a top 5 players in Arkansas not have Keith Lee on there.
Right.
And then of course Joe probably was the most talented, I think, out of the overall group. He's the most. And then you had Malik Monk, was just a phenomenal high school player here. But all these guys are NBA lottery picks.
Right. And Arkansas basketball right now per capita is one of the top in the country.
We want one of the top in the country with Division I players with McDonald All-American per capita.
Yeah, per capita.
Per capita with NBA players.
Yeah,
We're in the top 5 per capita. So it's just it's gone to a whole different level every year. But I still think my thought process from studying basketball, there's been some great players we left off this list, but I still think Sidney was the one that started our national trend.
Yeah, he's kind of like on the state level what Michael Jordan was on the national level.
Right. He was the foundation.
Yeah.
Came from Little Rock, went to Little Rock Hall. So he was very, accessible to a lot of kids. They saw him and they like, hey, I can be Sidney Moncrief.
I remember I had that Sports Illustrated, and growing up. I mean, that was a major deal. I remember it just as vividly as well as that was a major deal. And the thing about these top basketball players, when they had that All-Star game down in Henderson, you remember when they would come down and play. So I got a chance to see all, when those come down and have that game, to see all those players come down. Just great events that we were able to reach out and touch our heroes at that time. What about what are the few top high school players coming out?
So this is my top high school players. Now this is a fluent list, and we going off of last year.
Correct.
Because we got a couple kids that's back in the state that wasn't here last year that's getting ready to play Arkansas high school basketball this year. That was original from here, but they left and went to prep schools. They're not included in this list, but these are the kids that played last year that we know that's, I think this top 5. I got Cameron Bede at Bryant at number 5. He just committed to UCA. His brother also plays there. I got Anthony Hester at number 4 from Little Rock Mills, just committed to Arkansas State. I got R.J. Young at number 3. He's at Bryant also, so Bryant got 2 guys in the top 5. He just committed to Pelfrey at Tennessee Tech. And then at number 2, I got a young kid, 10th grade, Anthony Spratt, the only underclass in the that's been offered by Coach Cal. He's ranked I think he's ranked 40th or 45th in the nation. I got him at number 2, and he's loaded with talent. Then at number 1, I got J.J. Andrews, he's a top 15 player in the country. He's going to be a McDonald All-American, already committed to Arkansas. He's another McDonald All-American. If he can keep that trend going, Doc, I said, people don't realize this. Every McDonald All-American Arkansas had 5-star player they've had in the last 25 years have been first-round draft picks in NBA.
That's incredible.
So
because that's saying a lot of times you get kids with talent, but they don't develop.
Well, look at some of the football kids.
That's what I'm saying.
I would never call their names, but we had 5-star players, football players, and they were nowhere close to the draft board, or they was nowhere close to the first round.
Right.
All of our Arkansas 5-star players have been McDonald All-Americans, have been first-round draft picks.
That's an interesting statistic because, as you mentioned, when you start looking at, even on draft day, when they started NFL, start looking at 3-star, 4-star, just like the coach from University of Indiana, which got very few 5-stars, just signed for $90 million contracts. So he don't even look at stars. He just go and look at what can be developed in talent.
Right.
And so you have to have athletic ability. Now, you can't go out there and get a mule and take him to the Kentucky Derby and think
because they defensive line look a lot different than it looked last year. I'm telling you. I watched Indiana play, and they were good last year, but they defensive line look a lot different. There's some athletes out there on that D-line.
Well, I mean, they just went and beat Oregon, and so I'm just saying the same thing in basketball, and that's why I think you look at Coach Cal. And let's talk briefly. Coach Walker, he's assembled some talent at ULR that's just coming up your head.
He is. They've been unfortunate. They've had some key injuries during the preseason. But as far as the talent level he's assembled, I think this is probably his best talent, the most talent he's assembled. And this is probably the first time that he's been there, that he's had I think he got 5 kids from the Central Arkansas area, from the Little Rock area. They're a talented team. It's unfortunate they got injured at the point guard position.
Right.
So that's the one position that you don't need to have injuries, but they still got a lot of talent around. It's going to be interesting to see. They play Arkansas Pine Bluff over at the Jack Stevens Center tomorrow.
Okay. All right. I know you're going to check it out, ain't you?
You know it.
What time is the game,
I think the girls' game started at 6, and I think the boys' game is immediately following that.
If I'm in town, I may try to make that. That's great basketball content. That's the Suge Report on the Westrock Coffee Recruiting Intelligence Report. Hey, stay tuned. We got Uncle B coming back. You remember what I'm saying? Uncle B said if you ain't paying, he ain't staying. We're trying to get him on the air right now. We'll be right back.
They did the job, money came with ease, but one couldn't stop. It's like he had a disease. He robbed another and another, and a sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was a DT undercover. The cop grabbed his arm, he started acting erratic. He said, "Keep still, boy."
I don't normally eat fried food, but when I do, you will find me at Chicken King getting my grub on. I love catfish, and when I am in search of a 3-piece dinner of catfish with hot sauce and tartar sauce, you will find the doctor of football huddling up at Chicken King. Got a play for you to run. Go to Chicken King, located in North Little Rock, Bryant, or my hometown of Arkadelphia, and before you order, tell them the doctor of football wrote a prescription for your fried food desires. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. In fact, you will probably want to run that same play again and get another order very soon. They are the heavyweight champion of fried food. That's Chicken King, the 5-star fried food cuisine. It's the real deal. For more information, call 501-562-5573 and tell them the doctor of football prescribed them. On average, 30 black males are murdered each day in the United States. That's about 10,000 annually. Think about this. 30 families are contacted daily that a loved one has been murdered in the streets of America, not a foreign combat zone or a third world country. This hit home with me while serving as president of Arkansas Baptist College when my student, Derek Olivier, was gunned down across the street from campus. I made one of those 30 calls that day. It was and remains the hardest phone call of my life. Right now, I can still hear the screams from Derek's mother. It changed my life as well as changed their family life forever. This is why I launched FirstAnd45.com to bring awareness to this epidemic and to create a game plan to save our sons now. We'd love for you to join our First and 45 team. You call, we ball, and together we save lives.
Hey guys, for those of us who love sports, we know the value of team. In life, every man needs teammates to help him be better than he can be alone. 33 The Series is a video playbook based on the kind of manhood lived by Jesus Christ in his 33 years on earth. Check out our short video trailer at authenticmanhood.com. Better yet, get a group of guys together and experience it as a team.
Arkansas Best Insurance, your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs. We do our best to put your insurance concerns to rest. We basically bury your concerns. Ain't that right, the doctor of insurance, Trey Scallion of Arkansas Best?
Game on, Doc. Put us in the game.
You do it all. You're called Arkansas Best for a reason.
Call the play. Watch us score for you.
Automobiles?
We're rolling with you.
Home insurance?
Your home is safe with auto owners and Arkansas Best Insurance.
Nonprofits and board insurances?
We got you, Doc.
Surety bonds?
And Arkansas Best you can trust.
Business insurance?
No fumbles.
General liabilities?
We got your assets covered.
That's why I joined the team at Arkansas Best Insurance with the doctor of insurance, Trey Scallion. Let him make insurance plays for you. If you call, I promise you, he will ball. That's the doctor of insurance, Trey Scallion at Arkansas Best Insurance at 501-278-0105, 501-278-0105. A football coach told me, the doctor of football, the recruiting prescription used by Oklahoma to sign Brian Bosworth was linked to a common beverage liked by Coach Barry Switzer and Bos's father. Switzer's assistant coach had collected intel and knew the only type of beverage Mr. Bos drank. Consequently, during the home visit, when Bos's father asked Coach Switzer if he wanted something to drink, Coach Switzer replied, only if it was that exact beverage Mr. Bos drank. I will let your imagination roll about that beverage. But I must tell you about the 5-star Westrock coffee the Dr. Football is prescribing for all of your coffee needs. Now that I have briefed you, be like Coach Switzer, and when someone asks you if you want a cup of coffee, say, only if it's Westrock coffee.
Your home for Razorback football in Central Arkansas is 103.7 The Buzz. Coverage is brought to you by Genesis of Conway, Advantage Service Company, and Lion Legal. 103.7 The Buzz. The Hogs play here.
It's the Westrock Coffee Recruiting Intelligence Report with Fitz Hill.
Hey, Uncle B said he not like us. He said he not like us, but we're going to put him in the game anyway. Hey, before I do that, I want to give a shout-out to my teammates at Target Printing and Office Century. They do incredible printing work, and I'm married to them because I always get 5-star treatment for all my printing needs. When I call, man, they get in the game and they ball, and they will do the same for you and your printing needs. That's Target Printing. Is a one-stop shop printing manufacturer located in Little Rock at 1907 Appian Way Street. Call Kim or Lawrence at 501-663-9491 and tell them the doctor of football prescribed them to you for your printing needs. Uncle B, what's going on, bro?
Not much, Coach, but you got it wrong because I'm just like y'all. We all God-fearing men, and they not like us.
Okay,
I'm just like y'all.
Yeah, I got you. My man Dame was talking about the money. We ain't got your kind of money. He said that's why he call you money.
That's what it is.
We don't have your bank. We don't have your bank, so that's why we looking over there and say, well, we know, just like they want to be like Mike, we want to be like Uncle B. We want to be like Uncle B with that money. Hey, man, what you think about this playoffs and recruiting and, you know, what's been on your hot topic? I know you got your tournament coming up, but I want to give you a few minutes to be able to talk about that and your JC tournament coming up. I mean, I'm grateful to sponsor some kids for you because I know how you do that for kids to be exposed to the basketball opportunities with the JUCO. So let me know tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, man, we're having our 6th annual Natural State JUCO Jamboree. This year, we're really excited about that because 6 years ago when we started this Jamboree, Coach, there was only 3 JUCO programs in the state of Arkansas. And I know Coach Rip would be really happy to know that we have 10 now. So we have 10 JUCO basketball teams in Arkansas, and it gives young people an opportunity to go and to continue their education, to use basketball as their transportation to get to their destination. So we're really excited about this. So we will have 8 exciting games, men games over at Arkansas Baptist College, and then we'll have 5 women games over at Dunbar Community Center right down the street. So next Saturday, the 25th, It'll be basketball all day long. So we want to encourage everybody to come out and watch some basketball and bring a toy. This year we've partnered up with the Sons of Solomon, and we're having a toy drive. And they have a youth program, after-school program over at Dunbar Community Center, and we're going to make sure that each one of those young people over at Dunbar have some gifts up under their Christmas tree this Christmas. So we want to invite everybody to come out, bring a toy, and come grab you some popcorn and watch some good basketball. A lot of great Arkansas talent that played at high schools all over the state of Arkansas. And, those young people are trying to get their education and trying to move on to the next level. And we want to encourage them and give them a platform to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Suge, I know, as he mentioned, Coach Rip would be proud of seeing that tournament over at Arkansas Baptist College, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah, Coach. Hey, man, listen, it's enough teams just in Arkansas to have a league now. That was, like you say, Uncle B was saying, it was nowhere close to something like that. But this is actually was the beginning of it with Arkansas Baptist bringing junior college basketball here to Central Arkansas area. So I'm looking forward to it, and the coaches, the college coaches, are really going back to the JUCOs again now.
Right.
We've had a couple of kids that's received scholarships out of our program, so JUCOs are beginning to be more proper. Prep schools are fading away again, and now they're going back to the JUCOs, and the JUCOs changed the rule that they're talking about changing. And
that is a prep school.
Yeah, that's a prep school. They're not going to count. If you're going to play 2 years, you still have 4 years eligibility left. So, but I'm proud of Uncle B. I remember he started this, and now he's built it to this, and this is what it's all about. And it's a great event to go to. I love going to. Sit around, watch ball all day, see great players, and see kids get opportunities to further their basketball career.
And just to think, and where I always say, if this tournament wasn't there and the JUCO basketball wasn't here in our state and bringing this to fruition, there would be a lot of lost opportunities, right?
No question. You talking about, you talking about 30, 40, maybe 50 scholarships that's earned through junior colleges on to the next phase where kids had opportunity to get a 4-year degree.
Right.
You get your 2-year your associate degree, then you move on and get a 4-year degree. Like Coach Rick would always say, one thing about a college degree, it doesn't guarantee you a job. But one thing it does is give you a great opportunity where you may get a chance to get one. He would say something of that nature all the time, right. and I'm proud of Uncle B for getting this done, and it keeps growing and growing. So it's a big deal now.
Uncle B, I want to get your input on this. I know time often goes fast. I know I need to make you have opportunity. But did you realize that since 1962, I've talked about this a few months ago, that 19 Razorbacks have been drafted in the first round, and 7 of those 19, which is the highest percent, 37%, were from the state of Arkansas. Coach Houston Nutt recruited and developed 6 of those 19, so he's responsible for 32% of the first-round selections, of which 4 of the 6 were from the state of Arkansas. Man, and so we talked earlier about the violence, and I shared about, when I was talking to Coach James Rouse about, being around him in 1989 on the staff when I was a graduate assistant, working against him with Coach Crow. Then, you helping me, Coach Dennis Nutt, recruit Cedric Cobbs. Then next thing you know, you had from Central Arkansas, McFadden, Michael Dyer. And I know because our conversation, and when I look at yesterday, the young man, 14-year-old, was just charged with murder, which he was never engaged in anything. And this city, this is your hometown, and the talent is there, and the things that you're doing in basketball, what Sixten Gold was trying to do in football for developing talent. What would you suggest to the next head coach that comes in and looking at our numbers decreasing throughout the state? And one article came out, which I'm going to talk about next month, talked about should coaches even waste their time recruiting the state of Arkansas in football because of the numbers. But you and I we know the numbers are there, that your student population is not engaged, because that's why we did the FCA Combine, all the things that we have to do from the, because when kids are suspended from school, they don't get to participate. And then next thing you know, we're seeing them in the paper. There's no way a 14-year-old kid should have had a gun and shooting somebody because he was trespassing. I mean, that kid didn't have a chance in life. And, and now we're, I was sharing with the prosecutor one day. I said, it's amazing. Our kids can't get anything until they go to prison. They go to prison, they get all the mental health therapy, get 3 meals a day, everything that they want behind. But when we're trying to solicit for them to get things before, when they need it, it's not available to them. And so we have to continue doing the things like you're doing, what we were talking about in the first and second quarter. And I know you being a native, going to Little Rock Central, you have your thoughts about that. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, Coach. To answer the first question, the first thing I would tell the new coach at the University of Arkansas is to call Bill Ingram and talk to Bill Ingram, because this is a basketball state. And not all of those basketball players in the Hawk organization are going to go on to play college basketball. It's a lot of football players playing AAU basketball in Arkansas. And if you really want to recruit this state and you want to see the best talent, go to some of these basketball combines, get out to some of these basketball games in the summer, because that's where your football players are. And then I guess second, say, hey, get involved with Coach Fitch and what he's doing to help the inner city kids in Little Rock, because I graduated in '93 when they came out with Banging in Little Rock. So it was my generation where that gap started. If you look, the drop-off started happening in early 2000, where you had guys my age weren't able to be fathers and raise families because they was locked up or dead.
Yeah. No, hey, you're hitting the nail on the head, and because we're always, Coach, I know Ingram, any way we can help keep kids out of the system and be competitive on the sports is how we think it's a game changer. We like Coach Cal, we don't want to be transactional, we want to be transformational, and then we want to be able to change these kids' lives. Well, hey, that's it. Can't wait to get you back, Uncle B. I'm gonna have to give you 2 segments. I'm telling you, it goes so quick. But until
next, get the NIL, love, Coach.
Yeah, NIL. I got it. Look at it. We got it. He's the NIL. But hey, God, thank you for this platform. Until next time, bless us and keep us safe. Your name we pray. Amen. Hey, it's the Westrock Coffee Recruiting Intelligence Report presented by Expressway Airport Park. And until next time, God bless you.
Don't get sidetracked.
That man is